segment, I'm sorry I haven't a clue. The antidote to panel games.
We'll start off with a round called Historical Postcards. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to come up with some postcard messages likely to have been sent by famous historical figures from a certain holiday destination. Willie.
Found this one from Wordsworth, from Tinton Abbey, saying, "Dear Dorothy, have you got a rhyme for either Tinton or Abbey?"
Barry Cryer.
This is Captain Cook from Sydney Bay. Dear James, counting every minute, Sydney.
Graham.
This is Nelson to Lady Hamilton. Having a great time at Trafalgar, apart from the pigeons. Captain Hardy has shown me great loyalty and affection, though I still have to remind him no tongues. Can't wait to be back with you. Hope the eye and the arm are enough to be going on with.
Captain Scott from the Antarctic. The weather's not up to much. Catering poor. Oates is popping out to post this now.
William Rushton, you were involved in the 1960s, one of the great leaders of the semi-revolutionary, one might say, movement in the media. That was the week and the establishment and all those things.
Yes, I don't think that was intended to bring down the government. It might in a funny sort of way. I think what it did was actually sort of drag politicians into the open. I mean, I think it was the first time that politicians were named and laughed at and imitated and made humorous figures. And I think from then on, their television image became a very difficult thing. They had to go off, indeed, to television schools and learn how to speak to interviewers.
Was there never a point when you thought of going into politics as such?
No. Although I stood for Parliament, I didn't intend to go into politics.
Why did you stand for Parliament?
I stood for Parliament as a sort of exercise in jollying up a by-election, which was totally ludicrous when elected. So I assume descended from the Lords back into the Commons.
You were a joking.
It was a by-election. I think by-elections should be more humorous. I mean, I think general elections are another thing altogether, but the SDP proves anything can happen at a by-election.
Did you have the intention of exploding the whole idea of politics? And
No, never. No, my job, I've always felt in life as a humorist, is to actually just day by day is my stuff. I mean, I can take both sides in the rail strike, for instance, and if Peter Parker says something stupid, I feel it's my thing to make a joke about it, and if Ray Buckler's equally silly, then I can do one about him. You know, but it's a very slightly left of limbo I stand. I mean, I always vote Labour because I think their attitude to life is more generous than anybody else, but I'm basically left of limbo, I think is about right.
When did you start in that position? Somewhere at school?
No, I voted for Macmillan. I remember when I first got the vote, I must have been about 20, I think, was my first vote, and he came onto the television and prodded the Globe in a very knowing way. And Labour had the first sort of Saatchi and Saatchi commercial the night before the election, I think, and there were sort of trains howling by and everything going, technological white heat and all the rest of it. And I thought I rather preferred the gentleman who just prodded the Globe and looked confident.
You saw a wonderful way in which you're going to be able to imitate
he
that
made my
man,
life.
for goodness sake. I mean, you
yes.
recognise yourself.
Yes, I was going to meet him once, and then, unfortunately, Sir Winston Churchill died, and I never met him. He had to put off the Tea Party, which is organised.
Do you feel you've achieved anything with your work in the 60s, for example, in the satire?
I think it is, in a very small way, perked up life. I think it has made politicians more accessible. It's made people read the papers, possibly. I mean, in those days, I used to read the papers to see what that was the week would do that week end. And I think people now are more knowledgeable, and pub talk is probably more interesting and more humorous and more knowledgeable than it was.
Hello? Hello? Oh, is that the White House? Oh, Jack? Oh, it's Harold here. Harold Macmillan. M-A-C...
You are a spokesman, are you?
Yes, I've just been promoted for being an informed source.
Now then, what...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?